Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 19th regular City Council meeting. I'm so glad you're here this evening, and would you call the roll?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Councilmember Dennehy.
Here.
Maloney.
Here.
Schmischer.
Here.
Stein.
Here.
Tracy.
Here.
Okay. Worthington.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick.
Here.
Mayor Troutman.
Here. And we have our council on Zoom as well. Catherine? Right? Hi, Emily.
I am here.
Hi, Catherine. Okay, I'd invite Nelson Hoover of the Skyline Mennonite Church to give our invocation. Would you please rise?
Almighty Father, thank you for this opportunity to be here this evening, and I ask your presence here, I ask your wisdom here. Thank you for these men and women that have agreed to serve in this way. Father, I pray that you would take their knowledge, their giftings, their experience, and that they would combine them for the good of the community. And those that are going to speak tonight, I pray that their input would be valid and that would be for the good of our community. Bless and keep them, Almighty Father, in your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we have two people that would like to address the council. Rick, would you like to come forward regarding codes and council?
Yeah, I wanted to see what's going on with the paper on the fences that I submitted to you guys because I just got hit on my fence for the second time. And actually, I got a stack of code violations the other day, which I'm not surprised. After filing a lawsuit on the city, you guys showed up with a stack, and after calling down here, the guy told me he actually had to call the city attorney to see if what he could do to me and how he could get this code violation. And I think I should start a petition, and we should just get rid of all you dictators up there that tell us what we can do with our land that we work for, what we can have on our property, how high our fence can be. It's ridiculous. I work hard for what I own, and I don't even own it. You guys have more right to what I own than I do. And it's not okay. I don't know why 8 of you get to decide the whole outcome on ordinances and codes when we're a city and we should be voting as a democracy and seeing what we want as the people of the city, because plain as day, a lot of people don't want what you guys are doing to us. And I'm here to talk about that, and I would like to know what's going on with this fence code, if you guys have talked about it or anything. It's going on 3 weeks. Anybody?
Well, the code is for everybody, the whole town.
Oh, I know
Do you
that.
want some special treatment, or what do you want?
No, my fence is legal.
What do you want?
I don't want special treatment. I'm
Well,
trying
then
to change
what-
it. I filed a paper here
Well,
like she asked me to do.
What is your suggestion, Rick?
Huh?
What is your suggestion? 6, 10 foot in the front? Is that what you're after?
Well, three foot ain't gonna work with 50% see-through. That's like this right here. My dog can stick his head,
Rick, it's 4 feet.
yeah, 4 feet, whatever. My dog can clear that.
Why do you have?
You know, but
So we have to change. You think we should change the regulation to keep your dog in?
my dog is not getting out.
Okay, then why?
But he
What's wrong
can
with
get
fence?
out. I take, as a dog owner, a lot of precautions.
Not arguing that.
okay?
I'm talking about the fence.
Yeah. Well,
So it's 4
I'm not
feet.
even, I don't even want to talk to you. I'm addressing city
Who?
councilwoman over here because I gave her a paper. She told me to get signatures, and I did that. Evidently, you don't even know what's going on.
I
because
know what's
I've
going
talked to
on,
her.
and you're trying to call us dictators and everything up here. What do you think
Freedom
about
of
that?
speech, that's how
No,
I
the
see
rules
it.
have been in place for a long time.
Yeah, well, maybe
And you
it's
want
time
them
for
changed?
change. Change is good sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick.
I want to know if anything has been done about the paperwork I turned in on a fence before I step away from here.
Not that I know of. I didn't get anything.
Um,
So,
Yeah.
So I believe it was given to the city clerk. I don't know whether or not it has been sent out to council or not, and I think that it was a different individual sitting in this chair on that evening. So let us try to track it down and ensure that council receives it so that we can discuss it. Is that feasible, Ryan? Do you know who?
Yeah, I think we have the copy of it. We can make sure that gets out to council,
Great.
absolutely.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis Weed, come on down.
Yeah, Dennis Sweet, East Main Street in Rudd. So I was here a couple of weeks ago or whatever, and I was talking to you about my displeasure with code enforcement. I guess tonight's the night for that. So now I'm officially, I guess, a potential criminal, having been charged with both littering and improper use of furniture. I invited you all to drive by my property. I've talked to a couple of you. You're thinking about it, but you haven't. But I sincerely would invite you to drive by my property. It's on the corner of Cottonwood and Main. It's right across the street from Ortega's Restaurant. I'm charged with littering and improper use of furniture, 2 different violations. And actually, I'm kind of pleased that the chief is here tonight. Maybe he could drive by on his way past and see if this is really the best use of code enforcement, people. I mean, that property has never looked better. And I'm going to waste 2 days of my time, the busiest time of my year, when I really should be at work, going to court to fight these silly charges. And, the truth of the matter is, I'm not going to change anything because nothing needs to be changed. And hell, if the consensus of this city council was that, yeah, I'm wrong and I am indeed littering and yeah, indeed I am improperly using my furniture, I'll buy you all lunch. I'm actually offering to spend money for you guys to disagree with me. That's, if I'm wrong, I'll buy you lunch, but you really need to come by and take a look at this. I mean, I honestly cannot believe that this is what council intended this ordinance to do when it was written. I mean, this is a beautiful piece of property and it looks beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. So anyhow, corner of Cottonwood and Main, right across the street from Ortega's Restaurant, which is right across the street from McDonald's, in case you don't know where Ortega's is. Like I said, invite Chief to drive by too on the way back to the office. You got to drive right by there. So that's all I got to say. It's just, I'm really not happy, and I got better things to do in the middle of July than spend half a day in court to fight a silly littering ticket.
Yeah, I visited with you, Dennis. We walked the property,
Yeah.
and I agree. I don't know what good that would do, but I did agree with you.
Yeah, I mean,
And so-
seriously,
What?
just go take a look at it. I mean, if you really think, if you can see anything that you would call littering, let me know. And just for the record, the property today is, I haven't changed a thing. It's exactly the same as the day I got the ticket, just so you know. So I haven't spruced it up to make, I haven't changed anything. I don't intend to change anything.
So do we, I have been there. I drive by it every day.
Yeah.
And does the council want his phone number? I think you really should go by and look.
It's,
And honestly, so-
I'm flabbergasted. Honest to God, I feel like I'm just being targeted, and I'm boy. It's like
Well, I don't-
somebody
I don't-
with a badge and a pen and a book is writing me citations because they can, not because they should, because they can. They won't change their mind.
Okay. So I think we should. I agree with you. Hey, Rick, stop it. So I think you ought to. Maybe I'm out of line as mayor, but I'm telling you, go by and look at it. Okay? You got it?
Thank you. That would make me really happy.
All right.
And I hope I don't have to buy you all lunch, but,
I'm still looking for,
but if I do, I will.
I'm still wanting lunch, but thank you, Dennis.
All right. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
That's enough.
I can clap.
Leave. Okay. Apparently the zoo left out early today. Ember, any council members have any announcements or board updates?
Emily does.
Emily? Emily?
Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand. Go ahead.
Hope you can hear me okay. Just want to remind folks that tomorrow is the third Tuesday, so that means it's the meeting of the Community Advisory Group for the Lincoln Park Cotter Superfund site. Regular time and place, 3 p.m. in a classroom at the PCC Fremont campus. Thanks.
Thank you, Emily. Amy?
Thank you, Mayor Troutman. A little over a year ago, with a mandate from City Council, we started the Homelessness Solutions Working Group. On May the 28th, which is a week from this Wednesday, we'll kind of have a year-in review where we take stock of the efforts, successes, lessons learned, and exploring new initiatives that we might want to pursue over the coming year. So if anyone at all, either on council, Councilwoman Tracy has been going, but if anyone on council or if anyone in the community would like to join that working group, please feel free to reach out to me and I'd be happy to send you an invitation. If anyone else on council does want to join, I'd ask that you let the city clerk know in addition to me, just so that it can be posted. But we're really excited about some of the concrete, tangible progress that has been made. Obviously, they're really small steps, but they're what's achievable. And we're looking forward to another year.
Do you have a time and place?
It'll be at the police annex, and it's from 3 to 5 p.m. But again, if anyone on council is interested in joining, please make sure to let the city clerk know so that she can post it.
What day?
Wednesday, May 28th.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? So I had the pleasure of attending the graduation for our cadets. So did Ryan and Chief, and there were 8 that graduated that will be coming to our city. And I was quite impressed. Some of the graduates that are coming to Canyon City were top flight, graduated top of their class, leaders of their class, and it was just truly a great event. And I'm thrilled to see that we'll be starting here soon, right?
Yeah, they'll be going through field training here. I know one of them was here in the office today, so they'll be going through field training and hopefully released to independent control at the end of August, beginning of September.
Wow. So we'll have 8 officers back on the street, and there's one at the El Paso County, hasn't graduated yet, El Paso County Sheriff's Office, and he will be coming here. So we'll have 9 by the next 30 days.
Yeah, I believe our graduate or our cadet in the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, I believe he graduates in July.
Okay. Thank you. So, good. All right. This is a fun time for us. We have our Human Resource Director, Butch Batchelor, come forward with an employee recognition.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, other distinguished participants at the dais. Mayor, you're absolutely correct. This is a great time. It's the second meeting of the month. And this is our opportunity to recognize our employees who have met a milestone in their employment with the city. This month, we're recognizing Courtney McAvoy. Courtney, if you want to come up here. Courtney is kind of unique, which is something I like to see, because Courtney was first hired on July 8, 2019, as a police records technician. On April 14, 2023, Courtney left the city to pursue some other endeavors, but the great thing is, on March 4th, 2024, Courtney came back to the city. She realized this was really her family and she needed to be here. I begged her. Yeah. So Courtney came back as a part-time evidence technician. On January 4th of 2025, she was advanced to a full-time evidence technician, digital media, a position she continues to hold. Courtney, I have a couple of things for you. And your certificate. Thank you. And as you know, as our custom, I believe the chief has a few words that he would like to share with you about Courtney.
Thank you, Butch. Mr. Mayor, members of council. Yeah, I begged her to come back, and we're awfully glad that she did. As Butch indicated, she's being recognized for 5 years of service. She brings a whole lot more than that to our organization. She spent about 2 years with FCSO in an administrative and records tech capacity, serving us initially as a records tech, leaving, coming back while she was pursuing educational endeavors, and joining our digital evidence unit. She's a wealth of information, brings a lot of perspective, got her bachelor's last year, and just, you know, we're very lucky to have her. She brings considerable perspective to our unit, assisting our team with managing literally several thousand items of digital evidence a year. This past year has been an enormous lift for both Courtney and her peer Kim, who happens to be joining her over here as we celebrate her tonight. Of course, that unit in particular has exploded over the last couple of years with just a surge of digital evidence coming into the police department, and Courtney has been instrumental in helping our team grow and expand that unit, and we couldn't be happier with her and her direct contribution of our success, and we're just very happy that she's a part of our team, and I hope to keep her for a very long time.
Thank you, Chief. We prefer to say that you were quite persuasive.
I can beg and grovel with the best of them.
No, Courtney, you're not getting away that easily. We're all gonna come down front here and have a photo, and then your 10-minute speech. No, I'm just kidding.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Butch. That's always an enjoyable time because we have so many wonderful employees, and the proof that it's a great place to work for how long we have them working with us, and we certainly do appreciate that. So at this time, we have the consent agenda, number 8. I'd ask the city administrator to review the agenda and the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Item 8A is to approve the minutes for the regular city council meeting on May 5th, the general government meeting on May 7th, and the special meeting on April 28th, which was Energy Committee. 8B authorizes the mayor to appoint Lauren Flick to the Library Museum Board. 8C awards bid 25-25 street resurfacing to United Companies in an amount not to exceed $1,011,752.40. 8D is to receive and file the monthly budget summary. 8E is to receive and ratify cash disbursements. And 8F is to receive and file cash disbursements and P-card disbursements.
Thank you. At this time, are there any additions or corrections?
I do have a question on the.
Okay, John, go
cards,
go ahead.
if that's all right. So, Ryan, would you remind us what exactly P cards are so that the public has a sense of what we're talking about?
Sure, yeah. P-cards are purchasing cards, very similar to a credit card. It's a, it looks just like a credit card that employees will use for purchases that they're making for the city. We have, it's part of our purchasing policy, what the P-card can be used for. We have several different controls in place, including limits on how much employees can spend depending on what their role is and, especially what their purchasing role is within their departments. And then purchasing, our finance department also has controls on what categories the card can be used for. So if I am an administrative clerk and I, want to book a hotel room for somebody, that's not something that's readily available for most employees. Whereas when we have employees that travel more frequently, like our economic development office, that category would be turned on for that card.
See, and the banking details of the card, is this like a debit card or what?
It all goes through UMB Bank. So it's an account through UMB Bank and then is paid separately once the statements come in. Statements have to be reconciled. Employees have to provide receipts for all of the purchases to the finance office.
But that's after the money has gone.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Thank you for that. My question is, I noticed on this particular monthly summary, number one, we're spending about $100,000 a month, pretty much, month in, month out, on purchasing cards. Now, it may be different in government, but in private business, especially business, enterprises, purchasing is a pretty closely held division within a company, where employees are not really authorized to go ahead and make, purchases kind of at will, which is really what we've got here, although there's controls in place, as you mentioned. But it's essentially the employee uses the card. When the charge hits the bank pays the money, and then later it's reconciled. But it was for businesses and enterprises, it was always my experience that, especially when you had a reoccurring charge, for instance, like utilities or something like that, that those were not ever essentially expensed. This is almost like an expense account, where you have a card, someone accepts that as payment, and then later you turn in the documentation for it. And so there's something that seems off there to me. I don't know. I don't know that I've really put my thumb on it exactly yet, but especially where we're making payments to, for instance, CenturyLink Lumen, and memberships, things like that. That does not seem to me the appropriate use of a purchasing card to make those types of purchases. And so I don't expect resolution here tonight or anything like that, but maybe you could look at that and, maybe call me in for a chat with Tammy and you or something like that, or you and Tammy chat, because there's just something that seems off there to me that the other side of that coin is that the advantage to having a purchasing department in a private enterprise is that you do get the best prices that you can get for purchases. Whereas if it's really pretty much unrestricted, you can call up whoever to make a P card purchase, then you're kind of losing control of the purchasing power that your organization has as a unity. And so those are kind of my concerns, and maybe something that we can talk about offline.
Sure.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Amy?
I was just going to add to what John was saying in terms of, I know that the city is planning to look at the purchasing policy or the procurement policy in the third quarter of this year, and that might be an opportune time to determine what are the most appropriate times to use the P cards and kind of what safeguards are or guardrails are in place to ensure that they're being used for authorized budgetary expenses.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned at the beginning, the P cards are part of the purchasing policy, so we can take a look at that and refresh it as needed.
Okay, good discussion. Thank you. Any other discussion on that agenda? Then I would seek a motion and a second to approve the agenda and the consent agenda. Someone would like to make a motion? Amy?
Mayor Troutman, I move that we accept the consent agenda and agenda as written.
Second.
Second. Emily? Sorry. Andrea. Any discussion on that motion? Would you call a roll, please?
Sure. Councilmember Schmischer?
Aye.
Councilmember Stein?
Aye.
Dennehy?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Worthington?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick?
Aye.
Okay, thank you again. So another exciting portion of the agenda this evening is the administrator's report. Number 9, would you go forward?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of council, you have the written report, a couple things that didn't make it into the administrator's report. CDOT, it's going to be having an open house on June 5th from 5 to 6:30 at Pathfinder Park. They're going to be talking about a resurfacing project that they're working on from Canyon City all the way to the new roundabout. Justice Center, we're going to be doing an open house for the 2A project on Justice Center. That will be June 6th from 4 to 5:30. That is going to be hosted over at Department of Human Services. Rhodes Avenue, I put a little bit about this in the administrative report. They are planning on working on the fix starting tomorrow, so hopefully that does not take more than a couple of days, and we can get the water infrastructure tested and back online early next week. Clock Tower Plaza, we have received the 75% drawings. We are planning on having an open house to show those designs in the middle of June. Right now we're targeting June 12th. I don't have the particulars on that yet. And then a couple of updates from the last week. We had the Small Developer Forum that was put on by DCI, us, and the Hotel St. Cloud. I think it was very well attended. It was a pretty intimate group, but a lot of great questions, a lot of good discussion. Took a tour with the folks that came in town, around downtown, and got a lot of compliments about how our downtown looks and the things that we're doing. As the mayor mentioned, we graduated 8 cadets from the Pikes Peak Law Enforcement Academy. And then this past Friday, interviewed pool architects with the Recreation District. The top 3 were interviewed, 1 was selected, and I believe the Recreation District will be having a meeting tomorrow night to make that selection official. And Councilmember Dennehy also attended those meetings.
Okay.
Happy to take any questions about the administrator report.
You get awful quiet now. No. John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did have one question under the water treatment plant, and that was that we did have an EPA inspection on the 7th and 8th of this month where they were looking at our chlorine risk management program. Because we use chlorine gas up there as a disinfectant, there are certain guardrails perhaps that go around that use.
Yes.
Do you know, is that the city is not subject to emergency planning and community right to know act provisions? I do not believe. That might be a question.
That might be a question for Catherine.
For Catherine, but did the EPA leave any preliminary findings or?
anything that was left was verbal. There were no red flags that we received, and then we are expecting a report in about 60 to 70 days. So we expect that there will be some minor things that were found, not knowing what those are, but nothing major that we received any verbal warning that or heads up that we're going to be getting a fine or anything like that.
As a person who worked in private industry, subject to some of those EPA inspections, I always suspected when they did not leave written findings that it was to give the lawyers a chance to work the guys over to make sure they were taking the appropriate stance on issues that might have been identified. Thank you.
Darn lawyers. No, sorry. Amy.
Thanks. I have a couple of questions. I understand that Main Street may have been pushed back a week or so. Do you have an updated timeline on that construction?
What I received this morning is that they're looking to try and be substantially complete by June 6th. With the rains that we had a couple weeks ago, that really set things back, and trying to get the water to drain and workable set things back a little bit. They are working on pouring curb and gutter. They should be pouring curb and gutter this week, and they would start paving that week of June 2nd.
Thank you. With regard to the CDOT open house, unfortunately, it conflicts with our council meeting. Will there be I believe it conflicts with our council meeting. Will there be a Canyon City staff member who's going that we can pass along questions and comments to?
Let's see here.
I think it starts at 4. So.
It's,
Oh, I thought it was 5 to 6:30.
It's June 5th, which is a Thursday.
Oh, my apologies. I must have been looking at May.
I've done that a time or two.
Fair. With regard to just two more, hopefully really quick. With regard to the Clark Station property, will releasing the RFP a week before the closing date, how long do we expect the RFP to be open for? And then how long will it take to review projects? I'm just wondering if there's a reason why we're waiting until a week before the closing date to release it, or if we could potentially release it sooner and perhaps save a bit of time.
We could look at the potential for releasing it sooner. I don't know that would have any negative impacts.
Great. It'd just be great to get that public input and planning effort off the ground as quickly as possible. We'll obviously lose most of the 2025 prime season for it actually being underway, but it would be great to ensure that it can be kind of finalized and constructed before 2026 kicks off.
I don't know if it'll be constructed before 2026.
Before the 2026 season kicks off, at least to be included in the 2026 budget. But certainly the sooner that we can get that underway, the better. Awesome. And then lastly, with regard to the Main Street banners, will there be the proactive effort that council had asked for to ensure that Main Street merchants are kind of reached out to more than just a handful, but kind of more broadly to ensure that their input can be heard?
Yeah, we can do more. What we'd like to do is get the banners ordered for what blocks that are currently done, and then work to get designs done for the blocks that were not finished.
Sure. I think my concern is that council's direction was that input should be sought from the Main Street merchants, and it sounds like maybe only 2 have been reached out to, as opposed to kind of a broader discussion.
I'm not sure that was all of council that wanted to have all the business owners downtown discussing that. I was for moving forward as quickly as possible.
Okay, but it's been, what, a month, and it doesn't sound like much effort has been made at all to reach out to folks. So in the spirit of wanting to move forward on it as quickly as possible.
Do we have to have the two main businesses were part of the process that are part of the committee? Do we need, do you have, is there a list? Do we need everybody to input before we can get the banners okayed? I mean, is there, I mean, do we need everybody involved, or?
No, but I don't even think that the main businesses that were involved in the feather flag conversations, that all of them have been reached out to.
Well, if there's a list, then, I mean. There, as part of the Arts Committee, 2 businesses were involved in the discussions about the flags. And as Jerry said, Jerry represents one of the businesses downtown, and I do know that they want to get this done for this year. But does everybody have to sign off on everything before we can move ahead? Is that what we want?
No, sorry, I definitely don't think everybody needs to sign off on everything. I was just hoping that the city would be reaching out proactively to the Main Street businesses so that those who are interested can provide input. That's all. As we heard from the businesses who came that night to talk about their concerns.
I think we've spoken to, well, we had Sagentic, which was part of the Feather Flags, is on the art committee and was part of that. Spoke with Kaleidoscope and Autumn's Attic. Spoke with, I believe, Mr. Maleko. He came to this meeting. He also attended the art committee the next day. I've spoken with a couple of other businesses on the 500 block.
Oh, wonderful. Sorry, I thought in your email to me today, you had only mentioned the 2. So
No.
if you've done broader outreach, then that's great.
Yeah, I think we've spoken somewhere to 5 to 10 businesses.
Great. Thanks for the
Okay.
clarification then.
And I may have sent it before I put all of that in there. I don't, yeah.
Sure, understood.
Okay. Let's move on to discussion 10. It's an ordinance referring to committee on the 2024 model traffic code. I invite the administrator to present the staff report.
Yeah. Pursuant to the city charter, we are bringing items forward for referral to a general government revision meeting. The 2 items that we have to refer, one is the updates to the 2024 model traffic code, which we'll discuss in the general government meeting. The other one is regarding the code is fairly quiet on the subject of cats. We have a lot of stuff on dogs, so bringing forward code provisions regarding cats into discussing that and putting that into the municipal code. So this tonight is just the referral process. We're not discussing these items individually.
So we were able to cover A, I, and II, and for referral to general government?
That is correct, and you can make a motion to refer both at the same time.
Okay, any questions? John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a suggestion on the second one, on what we have listed as cat impoundment. I'd suggest that we say cat welfare rather than impoundment. I mean, really, that's what our goal is welfare for the animals, and that might be a better way to approach the issue.
We can update that.
Okay. Amy?
Thanks. I just wanted to flag that I think it would be really helpful if we reached out to JJ's Helping Paws and the Humane Society prior to the general government meeting and specifically invited them to that general government meeting and provided them with the draft code in advance of the general government meeting.
Yeah. PD is going to be reaching out, and I think they're also reaching out to a couple of vets as well.
Great.
Okay, then, so we would need a motion to refer these to general government meeting, and we can do both I and II at one time. So I would ask for a motion on that if someone would like to try and do that.
Sure.
John,
Give it a
go
shot.
ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we refer the following ordinances, draft ordinances, to committee. The 2024 model traffic code and the cat welfare and due process code amendment.
Okay.
I'll second.
Made and seconded. Any discussions on that motion? And none, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Maloney,
Aye.
Dennehy,
Aye.
Schmisher,
Aye.
Stein,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
Worthington.
Aye.
Okay, let's move on to B, introduction and adoption by title only, Resolution 02, Series 2025, entitled, "A Resolution of the City of Canyon City, Colorado, renaming a portion of County Road 123 as Charles Bronson Boulevard." I suppose that, Patrick, it would be the staff report. Would you like to go forward, or Ryan, or?
We will turn it over to Patrick. I don't want to steal any of his thunder.
All right, Patrick.
I don't know too much about Thunder, but I can walk you through how we got to where we are today.
Okay.
So this request originated with the owners of the unbuilt portion of 4 Mile Ranch. They recently contacted staff to obtain addresses for, as you can see, there are a number of lots along County Road 123 that don't require platting and that could potentially move right into a site plan phase associated with development, and in order to do that, they need addresses on those particular properties. At the same time, they said, hey, can we also talk about maybe changing the name of the street? It sounds kind of strange that a road that the city owns and maintains is called County Road, to which our response was, well, I've been with the city long enough to have gone through 3 different public works directors who have expressed similar sentiments. So yes, I think we probably could. So at that point, they came up with a suggestion that we then took to a naming commission. We have a naming commission with the city. I wasn't aware we had one until I met with them myself. And this naming commission was asked, okay, because the street names out on 4 Mile Ranch tend to take the themes of prominent westerns from movies and television series, whatnot, can we continue that theme with what we named County Road 123? The naming commission said, yes, that's fine, but we would like to have something that has a particular connection to Canyon City. And from a list of options that was generated, the owners of 4 Mile Ranch came back and said, we rather like Charles Bronson Boulevard as a name. As it turns out, Charles Bronson, in fact, made 2 films in the Canyon City area. One of them was called Mr. Majestic in 1973. The other was called The White Buffalo in 1977. So with that, the naming commission has approved the recommendation, and so we are here before you with a resolution that would formally change the name of Charles Bronson Boulevard. I will tell you that our public works director has also ordered sturdier posts to put the sign on, because this will be a very long sign once it gets mounted.
Patrick, can you talk a little bit about some of the outreach to the public agencies and property owners?
Certainly. So one of the things that we always do whenever we get any kind of a request for this is send referrals out. And in this case, we wanted to make sure that first responders and emergency service providers were well aware that this was something that was being considered, and did they have any objections if we renamed the portion of County Road 123 going through our city limits from 4 Mile Lane a little over 8,000 feet to the east to our eastern city limit. The response we got back was no, we don't really have an objection to that. Their preference would be that we stop the name change at the intersection with 4 Mile Parkway, but if we continued it all the way to the eastern boundary, because at the moment there are no properties that actually take access off of that portion of County Road 123 / Charles Bronson Boulevard, they didn't really see a conflict from their provision of services if we just continued the name all the way to our eastern boundary. Utility providers, they're only going to worry about what the address that's assigned to a property is, not the right-of-way. So they really didn't have any opinion one way or the other. As far as reaching out to property owners, of all the properties along 4 Mile along County Road 123, only one of them actually takes an address off of County Road 123. That used to be a car dealership. I believe it was sold very recently, and the new owner, I don't know what they're doing with the property. We have not been able to make personal contact with them. However, what we did do is contact the post office and say, okay, this resolution is being considered by council. If the street name is changed, What does that do in terms of mail delivery while we are attempting to work with the property owner? And what the local postmaster, Derek Arano, told me was the post office would continue to make regular delivery for up to a year and give that much time for the property owner to submit a notice of address change for the street name. We're also going to work with them and find out if they want to keep the same street number that they've got. My goal, as we do assign addresses to the parcels along County Road 123 / Charles Bronson Boulevard that the folks at 4 Mile want to obtain addresses for, is to integrate them into the enumeration grid that's currently active both along Cowboy Way and along Doc Holliday Drive, so that there's a consistency with address range by block for those. So I'm going to see if the property owner would be amenable to folding himself into those address ranges as well.
Any questions? John?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Patrick, this is kind of at a tangent, really what we're considering here tonight, but when properties are assigned addresses, how does that information flow to the Combined Regional Communications Authority, the 911 Center?
Certainly. So I have, as part of my regular contacts, and this was actually something that was assembled by my predecessor, but anytime we get asked for someone who wants to change an address, say they've got a corner lot and they want to have themselves facing the street to the north rather than the street to the east, or if they want to assign suites to the inside of a building, I am the one who does that assignment, and then I put together a notice of address assignment that gets circulated automatically to all of the utility providers within the region, to the Fremont County Assessor's Office, to all of the emergency service first responders, the fire district, the police department. All of them in one motion get notification of this change. So it will happen immediately upon an agreement that, yes, we want this address change.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions of Patrick? Tim?
Patrick, I'm just going to give you a little information. The business has been there quite a while. It is called, oh man, I got it here. It's Western Supply. It's a welding shop, a supply shop. Since we did lose they're about our only place that people within Canyon City and Fremont can go get welding supplies right now. And just to let you know, I'm just letting you know, I don't think they would have a problem, but I'm just letting you know that they are there. They're open a lot, and it is it's welding supply.
And I've seen that sign on the garage door. However, I recognize that sign was there prior to a car dealership being there, so I didn't know that was current information on the garage.
Yeah, it's current, and their business is growing.
Okay. I will make a point of contacting them. And if council elects to adopt this resolution, everyone in 4 Mile Ranch will have the opportunity to tell anyone they're giving directions to their house. If you're coming off of Highway 50, you turn at 4 Mile Parkway, and then you're going to have to cross Charles Bronson.
Humor noted. Humor noted. So, any other questions? Patrick? Would someone like to propose a motion? Go ahead, Tim.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask that we pass Resolution 2, Series of 2025.
Second?
Seconded. Any discussions on that motion? No. Okay. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Dennehy?
Aye.
Worthington?
Aye.
Maloney?
Aye.
Schmisher?
Aye.
Stein?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick?
Aye.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's move on to C. This is the second reading and adoption by title only of Ordinance 5, Series 2025, entitled An Ordinance of the City of Canyon City approving an addendum to the master lease agreement with U.S. Bancorp Government Leasing and Financing, Inc. for police vehicles. You want to review that? Ryan?
Yes, sir. This is a second reading. The finance director has not received any public comment. I have not received any public comment, and staff would recommend passing on second reading.
Kathy?
That was for a previous thing. Thank you.
Excuse me. John?
So, Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Ordinance 5, Series 2025 on second reading.
Second.
Second, Tim, thank you. Any discussions on that motion? With none, would you call roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Hamrick.
Aye.
Councilmember Dennehy.
Aye.
Maloney.
Aye.
Schmisher.
Aye.
Stein.
Aye.
Tracy.
Aye.
Worthington.
Aye.
Okay, that concludes the meeting. The next regular city council meeting will be June 2nd, 2025, and we are adjourned.